I am notorious for standing up and talking for 30 minutes for no apparent reason. So today I want to read something first because I don't want to miss any of the salient points as we start, and then after that we will take questions. Okay, so really important to know that building a healthy and positive workplace for everyone is a personal priority for myself and our organization. As the club shared on Tuesday, after being informed of the outcome of the league's investigation and the resulting discipline, we will respectfully abide by the league's decision. But more than that, we are going to take the steps needed to protect against this situation occurring again in the future. Just reinforcing that the idea of strengthening the processes of our team to ensure that we're providing a safe and nurturing environment for our people, and we will give Chad Kelly all the support he needs to comply with the terms of the decision handed down.
Like, if he appeals the decision, as I understand it, there would be nothing the league could do to prevent him from returning to team activities, getting his paycheck, all those kinds of things. Would the club allow him to do that, or would they suspend him themselves at that time, in that circumstance?
Well, at this point, we are following the league's requirements to the letter, right? And so that's actually a different conversation for a different day. But in this particular situation, we are, very committed to making sure that we follow the league's direction. They did a long, intensive three-month investigation, and so with that, we want to make sure that we respect the league and the league's decision as we move forward. And so if those decisions were made, something different probably would have had to have come up for them. So we will recognize those things in its due time.
Right. So if he appeals, the club would have to make a decision then at that time.
That's right.
Correct. Have you received a copy of the report itself?
I have not, no.
Did you receive an executive summary?
A summary was sent to our legal team, I believe.
Okay. There's not any specifics other than unequivocal that he violated the policy. No specifics at all. Is that fair to Chad?
You'll have to ask him.
Pinball, you said that you're going to follow the league's suspension. So does that mean that if Chad did appeal, the Argos would suspend him and not allow him to play?
We have to make the decision at that time, because if something like that occurred, it means that we've got new developments. So it would make sense to address that at an appropriate time.
Certainly the development here is he is at practice today, and the league is telling us that is the team's discretion. What went into that decision making?
He was there but did not practice, so he's allowed to be out here, right? And the league has given him that permission, and we will follow the league's direction. So with that, we will continue to try to be consistent with that, because they went through a long investigation. When you go through a 3-month investigation, you cover things. They gave him a very severe, very harsh penalty. Maybe unprecedented. I'm not sure, but consistent with that. We want to make sure, right, that we continue to move along that line, and Chad, though, has to be willing to do that as well.
So just to clarify, the league gave the Argos permission, or the league is saying that he can attend practice?
The league has said that. That's right.
Do you think, Chad Kelly aside, was Argos management in compliance with the gender-based violence policy with what occurred?
We were given one recommendation, and that was really to next time make sure that we put everything on paper.
You said that you're going to try to make sure that in the future this doesn't happen. What steps is the team taking to make sure that this doesn't happen?
Well, first of all, the league has laid out instructions for him, and so he will follow those instructions that he has been given, and he will have to. So even with the suspension, it's not 9 weeks and you go back to play. It's 9 weeks. We evaluate where you are, right, and how you have complied with the things that we've asked you to do, and then at that point he would be eligible again. So the league has had very strict rules where they're governing this, and I think it is a reflection of a responsible investigation.
There are others. Sorry.
I was just going to say, does the team have to handle things differently in the future if something like this were to arise?
Well, our goal is to make sure that it doesn't. Good enough is not good enough. When I say that, for us, this program has been a really successful program up to now, right? So from the veterans, and if I called her a veteran, she would probably be mad at me, but Linda Davis has been with us 25 years. She's our director of accounting and has been there. You look at current times, we have a head therapist who was one of our assistant therapists that is the now the head therapist for the Ottawa team in the PWHL in our new women's professional hockey league, and then we have a young lady who has been with us for quite a while now, and she stepped up instead of a seasonal, she's now a full-time with our therapy team. And so this is something that we work at, and we have a new young lady who is our new director of football operations. And so when we look at this is not something that we talk about, right? Or we try to throw a sign up and, kind of say, hey, look at us. This is something that we believe in, something that we do, something that we practice. But in this situation, right, this is no explanation for, what is taking place, right? In this, 99% is not good enough. You got to be 100%, and so that's what our goal is. Emphatically, right? We want to do our very best in this area, understanding that perfection is not. I hope it's not just I don't know what's past a goal, right? But whatever that thing is that's past a goal, right? That's what we want. We want to be committed to making sure that this is a safe and healthy environment for everybody.
I know you well enough and been around this team long enough to know how much you evaluate players and your staff evaluate players. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
But Chad is out here. How disappointed are you in this entire situation, knowing the care that you put into how the Argos are perceived in the community?
I do believe that is an unfair question at this point. We are trying to follow the league's rules and abiding by the league's rules. The penalty that was handed down by the league was a very significant and challenging commitment on their part, and so I think they were diligent in their investigation, and they laid a penalty which I think surprised people, right? And given that, the things that go alongside of that, if we're going to continue to build and build this thing to the place where Chad can get back, right? Part of that is he needs to be with the team, and so I'm not sort of approving it or disapproving it, right? I'm following the rules that we were given, and we will continue to do that. So I appreciate your passion, and I hope you can appreciate mine.
With all due respect, we're talking a lot about Chad here, and not the plaintiff in a lawsuit in a workplace where the league found there was unequivocal evidence that a policy was violated. What does that say to the females in the organization or in workplaces in MLSE or elsewhere?
Well, I don't know how. I don't want to be flippant here, right? But I don't know how many workplaces you've been in where it doesn't have an issue. This is one. These are two employees who had an issue, right? And that happens, and then when it happens, we have to figure out how to justly legislate this process, and that's what the league has done. And so if that changes, we'll change.
And in the team statement of defense, they admitted that they were aware of an incident on November 6th at BMO Field in the BMO Club. When did you become aware of that incident?
We're not here to provide explanations today. It's much higher than that. We need to esteem, to learn, to grow, to do those things so we can become better.
Michael, you said that you want to make sure that basically from this organization who's for that nothing like this can ever happen. What are the measures you can put in place to do that?
So that process is still ongoing. We've got a set of rules that we have from the league itself, right? But we will go beyond that though, because good enough, as I said, is not good enough, right? So it's not good enough just to comply with the league rules. And if we're going to take this seriously, we need to continue to learn and grow in this area, and that's for me too. So I can't, I don't know what I don't know. Right, and so with that, as we are more defined in what that looks like, we can inform you about it. But I can't say that I'm versed enough.
Yeah, you're
right,
making a commitment today.
That's right. That's right. Yes,
And,
sir.
You said that the one thing the league informed you of was that you need to write things down. That's one thing.
Yes.
Is there anything else in this process that you would do differently?
Well, if I could do it differently, I'd ask a whole bunch more questions a lot earlier and all of those kinds of things. We have what we believe to be is a tremendous culture that has cultivated people, and they, people come and say that, the air here is different, and but this is a situation that had happened between two people, and situations do happen between two people. I don't know all the details of what happened, but we'll just continue to work at being the best we can. And while you're shooting for that idea, I'm actually disciplining myself now, because what I often say is that if perfection is the goal, right, it's not as good as excellence, because things are going to happen, right? And if perfection is the goal, you actually are too tentative, right? You're not aggressive enough. Excellence is the goal, but 100% still has to be that mandate that you're shooting for in this case.
Is it your anticipation as the general manager of the Toronto Argonauts?
Yes,
the
sir.
general manager question, that in mid-October, the Argos are having a home game. Chad Kelly will be the quarterback of the Argonauts in mid-October?
I've got no expectations at this point, right? There are a lot of work that needs to be done on everybody's behalf, right? It's not just Chad. He's got work to do, but we've got work to do as well. So we want to look inward before we look outward, and so this is something that I'm really passionate about, making sure that there's space for people, and that I try to be respectful in everything that I do, and so that is our hope.
As the GM, have you had the conversation of the possibility of Chad not being part of the organization?
Again, those kind of comments today and reflections today are not what we're here for. But I do want to say that I really appreciate the comments and the interests, but we're here today to start a process of getting better.
Will there be, or should there be, anybody else in the organization held accountable for maybe dropping the ball at some point during this?
If that's anybody, it's me, because I'm the boss, right? So if you want to blame someone, I'm the guy, right?
But did you know about these allegations?
No, I didn't. No, I wasn't aware of them until they came out. So the blame game is no good. Let's go back and let's look at processes, right? And see if our process could have been better. And for that, we're going to need outside help, because trying to examine that inside, I don't think that we're qualified to do so.
There are fans out there that are saying they won't buy tickets to an Argos game as long as Chad is still with the team. What do you say to those fans?
That I want to say to those fans that I deeply appreciate your support to this point, and we are going to continue to find a path. I love people, and I'm not ashamed to say that, right? And I do believe that people deserve opportunity, right? And so if we get to a point where we see that is otherwise in this situation, right, we will make that change at that time.
In the statement of defense, is the team denying any of the allegations against it?
No.
From a football standpoint, Are you proceeding as if Cam Dukes is going to be QB1 for training camp in the first 9 games of the season, or how do you view it?
Right now, that's probably the last thing on my mind. And right now, let's actually make the most important thing the most important thing. And the most important thing is acknowledging that we had a situation that we don't ever want to replicate again, right? And we're going to do our best, our very best, right, to make sure that we go beyond what is the recommended ideas, to be able to give our guys all the information that they need and the support, hopefully, that we can to make this, to not have you have to fly here again this time of year.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks, Mike.